Welcome back, everyone, to the Puff Drink Talk podcast. Konrad here.
I'm Hilton.
I'm George.
I'm Arthur.
And I'm Vern.
Vern, welcome back.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome back. I mean, this is our third podcast. We've been filming today, but getting into it.
Oh, it's Vern, man. We need more.
Well,
Yeah.
You got a lot of things to say.
Yeah, a lot of bowling and a lot of sports. So
Yeah.
What is one thing, Vern, that talk a little bit about what you do these days, because I haven't really gotten into that much in previous episodes. But I mean, I've known you for a little while now, and the way you present yourself, your professionalism, and the way you communicate is always so approachable.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was one event that we went to, and there was a roofer in the room, and then you came in as a roofer. But then it just goes, I mean, you guys do everything. And then like, hey, instead of being a roofer in this group, why don't you take the remodeling chair?
well, a lot of what we do is I mean, as you guys all well know, it's all a part in everything in life. It's all a part of adjustments.
Yeah.
And so we kind of switched from roofing to putting me in remodeling. One, because it just was an easier sell for me. And the roofing, as you guys all well know, roofing is just so overly saturated. So it's a hit and miss thing. But I got into areas that I was comfortable with. In my 25 years of doing sales, it's all about giving people, these people having an idea and being able to go to them and in selling them what they want, not what you want to sell them. I mean, yes, I would love to be able to hit those big, huge sales that would put my kids through college twice over and stuff like that. But nothing from nothing is nothing. I've always been told that. And if you come in as a used car salesman or something like that, you're not going to get the sale. People are going to get turned off like that. But if you listen and you provide solutions, that's what I've always felt has worked for me. And that's a lot of what I like to do with ICS, with what we sell there. If they want to remodel their bathroom to be this oasis, I want to be the person that gives them the ideas and things to be able to do that. Same way with kitchen. People come in and say, well, we barbecue a lot. And the setup we have in our kitchen is not what we want. We want something that it really helps with that. And with our company, it's not a matter of just coming in and doing cookie cutter kitchen remodels. It's coming in, getting their ideas, and being able to do that. And it not only makes them happy, but what makes me happy is that even after the end of the sales, being able to go in and see how happy the client is with what they have and what we've done for them. And a lot of times you run into general contractors, interior designers, architects that want to do what they're comfortable with doing and not what the client really needs. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't tell them that, hey, this is not going to work or it's not going to work the way you want in your head. But we want to get them and we want them to be happy. And that was one of the big things that has attracted me to ICS, is that we have been able to adjust to that and been able to give these people the ideas that they have in their head in a certain way and let these people know that we can do that for them.
And the most affordable way.
Exactly.
Yeah, you focus on that too.
I mean, everybody wants to get that client that doesn't have a budget, but we live in a world where you have to have a budget. You have to have certain things. And being able to solve their problems and put smiles on their faces and them feeling the way they are within a price point, that's the greatest feeling in the world for me. That's the big satisfaction I get on sales. I was drug into sales kicking and screaming because I was a big fix person. When I started off, I would go and I would work on these doors and I'd work on things for builders. Builders would have problems and they'd come to me and they'd ask me to solve them for them. So I'd go out and I'd fix the things up and I'd tell them what I did, what was done. And then next thing I know, these builders are sending people to me. I'm not a salesperson. I wasn't a salesperson at that time. And these clients would be coming in and asking for me to show them stuff. And so I was kind of drug into sales. And then I got in there and I found that instead of fixing things and getting the satisfaction of having stuff fixed, that I started to get more pleasure out of solving and helping people come up with solutions. And And that really worked for me, and that's really worked as I've gone along in my career in the different industries that I've been in. So.
Yeah, that's why they say integrity is not only in the name, right?
Yeah.
'Cause,
It's not just in the name; it's in the work.
yeah, it's in the work. Yeah, it's kind of fun.
What's a project that you're most proud of from the ones you have done?
I really enjoyed selling hardware because there were just a lot of people. The one big thing that's always been a challenge for me from everywhere I go, even in the industry now, is because Home Depot and Lowe's does just a great job of marketing themselves, but letting people know that there's other things, that there's other options, that there's, you can find nice stuff at affordable prices. That's one of the things that I enjoy bringing to a client, to say, hey, listen, you just don't have to go with that generic stuff that everybody else is buying it over here or over there. You can come to us and we can show you where you can go to get these things, or we can do things for you, or we can do things with whatever you buy.
Yeah.
And that's what I really enjoy. I enjoyed hardware a lot because it was great to be able to, somebody comes in and they say, hey, I want a car wash in my master bath. I was able to put together a plumbing system that had a rain shower, head shower, body sprays. If they wanted it to be like a spa, they wanted it to be a steam room, you could make it a steam room. And I was able to put that stuff together for them, and that was great. And I could do it on a price that would, I mean, I won't say that setup's cheap, but you could still get it to where they would get what they wanted, and you could get it at affordable prices. And that's what I really enjoy. And that's what I've kind of taken to my job with ICS, is that it really is, there's a difference between selling product and selling service. Big difference. Selling product, you got prices like that. You can just go and you look at the prices and cut them down and stuff like that. But selling service and convincing these people and having them trust you is just a so much different thing. And I've managed to kind of conform to that and learn that really well in talking. The things that I missed, when I changed jobs, I was at the end of my last job, I was just so depressed and so out of it because I was sitting in front of a computer for 8 hours a day doing data entry. And I was just entering stuff in, and I was like, man, how did I end up here? Mm-hmm. And so when I got on here, I kind of got back into what I really enjoy and what really brings me pleasure. And I don't look at it as work. I look at it as just something that's great to get to know these people and get to know what they want in their life and what's important for them in remodeling their house or just talking to them. I mean, there's been times we've gone out to jobs and just not gotten jobs, but we've helped them. I mean, I have one story where I had a person call us out to their house because they were going to change all their windows because they had door knockers come through and said, hey, they need new windows. You need vinyl windows. And then we go out there. Well, they already had vinyl windows. They just needed to do some maintenance on them. We didn't get the job, but we got the integrity. We got the relationship. And we were able to tell them that if they needed anything else, that they could call us. And 2 days later, they were calling us with some questions about some other stuff. And that's the great thing is establishing these relationships. And not just with customers, but even with the networking we're doing, where I've met Hilton and stuff like that. And it's stuff that's kind of bringing me new life to my career. And that's what I love about it, is just the interaction with people. Being able to, I never would have thought 3 years ago, I wouldn't even thought I'd be on a podcast right now. Talking with you guys about what I'm doing, and it's just something that just satisfies me. It just
so you're part of any chapter? What is that? The
just the builders, the BAC, Build Austin Connections, and stuff like that. And we're looking at some other ones to try to get to be a part of. Mm-hmm. Like the NARI is one that I would really like to be a part of. I feel like that's a very supportive group.
That's the one that we want to get in together, right? Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Because they're very supportive of their membership and stuff like that. And that's the thing is that, and without calling them out, but there are some groups that I've seen that have kind of morphed into helping members to end up being lobbying groups, and it ends up being more about them getting money out of you, and not really focused on your end user or your members or anything like that. And they're more focused on making sure, and I know we need it, but still, when it comes right down to it, the people you want are the people that are going to pay, that are going to buy, and stuff like that. And it's not about lobbying the Congress, the government here in Austin, or anything like that. It's about satisfying the clients when it comes right down to it.
The reason why I asked is because you mentioned listening to, while you're selling or you're interacting with the client, right, or the customer. You said you listen. So once you listen, you know a lot of their needs. And then since these chapters are all about, the important part is that it's trust, right? So once you know a lot about your things, but for sure they share a lot of different needs that you won't be able to, to fulfill it. And then you have guys like Hilton. Hey, Hilton. I've got
this guy can get you this.
Exactly. So
we had a situation where I had a client that was had bought a home that was built by a builder maybe 10 years ago. And he's got carpet in there that he wants to change to LVP. And finding stuff that matches and things like that and being able to solve that, because a lot of times when you run into, with remodeling, it's all about the old houses. It's all about the established houses and stuff like that. You have to be able to have those trustworthy vendors that are willing to go that extra mile to find something that you're looking for, or to at least offer a solution for you. And that's a big thing. That's why there's not only trust with your end user, with your home builder or your homeowner, but it's a trust with the vendors that you're using or the people that you're interacting with. And that's a big thing, is finding people like that that we can all work together to do. I mean, we found flooring for him, or even offering him a solution that might be different than what he's got out there. And that's a big thing. Instead of just going up and just saying, nope, this is what you got to go with, that's that.
Yeah, got to remove everything and redo everything.
Yeah.
We try to find a solution where they don't have to spend extra money just because a salesperson would like to make more money. I've told so many people before, no, you don't have to replace this floor. You can just refinish them if they are refinishable, or we can find something that is very comparable. It may be a very close match that maybe you can change direction and then it still look good, because you don't have to spend the money on doing, you don't have to take something that is they already like,
right?
And but just because that it's being discontinued, for example, I can't get the product anymore, but can I put something in there that is still gonna be okay? This is gonna be as same a trust factor on the. I'm gonna be walking into the other room and feel the same way in the rest of the house.
And being able to communicate to your customer that's the case without trashing other vendors or anything like that. And that's a big thing, because you don't ever want to be a salesperson that's like that goes, well, that's just crap. You don't want to use them because I'm going to sell you the quality of stuff. You want to be able to sell them on trustworthiness, on the fact that they know that you're going to be able to get the job done, and let them know that can be done through you and not through chucking a truck or anything like that. And I mean, it's a hard thing to do. You have to have a certain mentality, and that's a lot of what I've learned about sales going along. It's just seeing how different salespeople are. They're more for the thing right now. I've had people call and ask for me 5 years later after I've done work for them, because they've trusted me and they know that I'm not leading them in the wrong direction. And this is from me working at one place, and I've gone to another place, and they go, "Oh, Vern, I found you." I said, "Hey, I've got this problem and I need you to help me with that." And that's the most enjoyable part of the job. That's the ultimate compliment to me. Yes, while I love Google reviews and all those things for our company, the biggest compliment I always had was when people would find me. When people would find me at different places. It wasn't that I was working at these places for short. Some of them went out of business. Some of them I just moved on because it was a different challenge. And some of them I went to because it was right back into what I was doing before. And when you have a client that searches the internet for your name and sees that you're at a different company, and they call and they talk to you and they ask you if you can help them, to me, it's the ultimate compliment,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So,
and this is a result of building a relationship,
Mhm.
right? Because this is what this business is. Because it's harder. It's harder to get. It's hard to get new customers.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to get. And then once you build it, you have you provide services to someone, and then someone is looking for you 5-10 years later.
Right.
You know.
Wondering if you're still in the same city.
Exactly, right? So yeah, I like that. I like this idea. Yeah.
So, but that's a lot of what I do. And then what I'm doing for ICS is we're selling a lot of remodels. We're really working with realtors and trying to give them a constructive make-ready program, because a lot of times what I've run into is that with realtors, they end up being GCs by default. And if they can focus on buying and selling and just have a GC that can help them get their property ready and get it on the market, knowing that if you put this amount of money and this amount of stuff in and make this amount a lot more at the very end, you know, it's a great thing. It works out for the realtor. He gets a higher commission. Works out for the seller because they get more money. And it works out for the buyer because we're trying to establish that relationship that, you know, they may 6 months, a year down the road have something happen at their house and they don't know who to call. I know that from experience with when I was a first time home buyer, something happens to my house in a year and I'm trying to find somebody that's trustworthy to come and do the work.
Yeah.
And if I'd have had somebody that was in that pamphlet that you hand at closing or something like that and been able to open the pamphlet and say, there's ICS, they were the ones that were working on my house, I'm going to call them. That's a
they already know the house.
Exactly. So those are the things that I'm working on, that I'm trying to get out there in front of people to know that they have trustworthy people at all three ends of the triangle of this real estate, this make-ready program that I put together.
Yeah, it's interesting.
No, and that's funny you bring that up because, you know, I have my first house, there were some problems that came up, and by default, I would always turn to Hilton.
Right.
Because, well, and this was before this podcast, and this was before the Puff Drink Talk, you know, networking event. But it would be like, Hilton, who do you know for an air conditioning guy?
Right.
Who do you know for this guy? Who do you know for this? And it was always like, well, I worked with this one guy before a couple years ago, and, you know, I think he can do it and stuff. And obviously now with the podcast and the networking group, it's like, shit, I mean, there's a Rolodex of names that it's like, okay, if you want window guy, you want glass guy, you want this guy, you know, he's got a whole list of everything.
I had a customer reaching out to me, and he goes like, "Hey Hilton, who do you know for?" Forgot what he asked for. I can check it. I can check it on my messaging system here.
But my point is, what I was trying to get at is, like you're saying, building that relationship, obviously, with the real estate agent, because my real estate agent, there was some things that needed to be done with the house. She didn't know, you know, and now and she knows Hilton now because of all of the networking groups and stuff like that. So if it came to a point where it's like, hey, you know, we really need to look into this, I got a person for you. Yep. You know, building that connection and that ease.
Well,
and comfort
and
of
it's
it.
also the big, we live in a society of one-stop shop.
Right.
You know, where if you have something like, let's say your AC freezes up, the water gets into the pan drips over, and it goes down to your sheetrock and all that stuff. You end up having to call like 3 different people, one to work on the AC, one to work on the sheetrock, one person to paint. And the same thing with homeowners. Homeowners don't want to be GCs.
No.
They don't want to have to call the AC guy and then have to call the electrician and then have to call the painter and then have to call the sheetrock person. And so giving them this one-stop shop to say, hey, we've got guys that can do that for you. You just let me take care of it, and the only person you have to talk to is me.
Yeah.
You know?
This customer was like, I have a problem. I have a 20-foot tall, and he needs to put like a curtain, like some sort of window treatment, right? But it's 20 foot tall,
right?
So I need like a handyman or something like that, you know. And it's like, I got 2 for you, and then I send him an American guy that is in BAC with us,
right.
And then I send him a Brazilian guy. So like the Brazilian guy might not have time because he's very busy now. He's like 2 weeks out. And then he goes like, man, you and your contacts, you know. He was like,
Right.
thanks, you know.
Right.
So this is the kind of things that we get from customers, just because you become a point of contact for someone that just needs one specific thing, and also you become a point of contact when you need, more than one thing done.
And that's the thing. It's like, like last night's Mixapalooza. What was great was walking through there, and this is how I know the networking's working, is that not only to see people like you and some of the other guys that I've got relationships with in the groups that we go to, but to see people that recognize the symbol that I've got on there. They walk up and they go, hey, I've seen that. And knowing that I've seen that symbol, or I've seen that thing, that means that I'm getting out there and I'm getting in front of people and people are knowing about it. I had a door knocker that was in my neighborhood the other day, and I was getting out of the car and he wanted to sell me windows. I said, no, I can get windows on my own. I said, I appreciate you offering. And he goes, well, do you have any advice for me? I said, yeah, get out of my neighborhood. These are all my clients.
That's a good one.
Now that you asked, yeah, I wouldn't say anything, but
But I mean, it's nice to know that that's the big thing, and that's one of the goals that I have, is to get us out there and to be that trustworthy company, like some of the other companies that you see in Austin. To be that trustworthy company that you call on, and through all of these things, I feel like it's starting to take. And it's like everybody says, when you start these things, when you start these networking and stuff, you got to give it time. And I think that it really is working, and I'm starting to see I'm reaping the benefits of all the networking and all the talking to people. So
Yeah, for sure.
Hilton has something to say about you joined like one network. How many?
Well, when I started, I was in one networking group, and then after so many years, I decided to just invest a little bit more in networking, and then I started joining all of the networking groups, and all of a sudden I became the most well-known person in flooring around here around Austin area, and people do come to us for advice. They come to us for referrals, come to us for our work. That's the thing, is that you got to give a little bit of time,
Right.
But once you establish all those connections,
And you have to go a little bit above and beyond, because it's not just the networking groups. It's like, the other thing that I've kind of looked into is going to open houses and talking to realtors there, going to the business after hours, things that may not, as far as some kind of a payment, that they're not costing you anything. All it's costing you is time.
yeah.
And so I've met so many people in like some of these business after hours at all the little places around Austin, just going to that, and it's a free event, and you just go and you talk to people, and you talk to realtors, you talk to interior designers, and eventually you're going to be the one that comes up in their mind. And I mean, and it's great because it works now, just like it used to work when I was in hardware. When I would go to these people's offices and I'd visit with them a little bit and say, hey, what can I do for you? What is it? What need are you not getting satisfied with your current client? What that I can maybe help you out with? And it's a great thing. And like I said, it all fits back into that, when you solve an issue for somebody and you build that trust, it gives you a sense of satisfaction. And that's a big thing for me, is that, if I'm not getting that sense of satisfaction from something, then I've made a wrong choice, or I need to go and find something else to do.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. You also find a lot of people wanting to sell to you, right?
Yeah.
And like,
Oh, yeah,
man, this is not the place to sell to me. It's like it's a place to establish connections.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So-
you find, but it's like the less experienced people. They, oh man, you're doing this. I can do this for you, and it's like, well, yeah. I mean, if you're telling me that, it means that you don't know me yet, in a way, to understand that I know 10 other people that do what you do. So how about, let's talk about something else. Do you like Formula One? Do you like golf? Do you like squash? Do you like cigars? Things like that. It's like, what is it outside of work that you like, so that you see if there is a connection in there for those to for example, there was this one golf tournament, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we went, and it's like I was given for free a sponsorship on my hole, and it's like I have no merchandise to put it in there. So, and I just announced like, who can do that? And then you go like, I'll sit on that hole for you, and then you're talking about ICS and Ballerini floors, during this golf tournament, and
Right.
then you're just there just because of our connection. So the two of us, we got like a free booth,
Right, right.
on a golf tournament,
And once they see you there, they remember you, and that's the one thing that I've kind of learned along, and I learned it more later in my sales life, was that you don't have to be a bull in a china shop. You don't have to go and just sell. It's going in and just talking to people and being with people, and you might not make the sale then, but getting this comfort level where, you, like you said, asking about golf or asking about cigars or where do they like to take their kids on vacation and stuff like that, and just connecting with them, and that's a big thing, and that's a big thing that drives my sales is the connections. So
It's a good segue, isn't it?
It was
Love
perfect.
it. Well, Vern, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure talking with you and getting to know you and all of the work that you do for ICS.
well,
It's
I
awesome.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us on the Puff Drink Talk podcast this morning. Stay tuned next week for more episodes and more cigars. Like, comment, subscribe, and follow us on Spotify. Till next week.